On the American Rescue Plan overall, you say, and I think a lot of people agree, that it really gave a big help to a lot of people. Where are we with the program in this sense? A certain amount of money was appropriated. How much has actually been dispersed? How much is left to be dispersed at this point?
Well, here's the issue. A lot of the American Rescue Plan, for example, probably a third, went to state, local governments, superintendents, child care centers. In a lot of those areas, that money is obligated. It is being planned for spending, but it doesn't mean it's all spent out. So to give you an example, if a school district said, we're going to double the amount of first to third grade teachers, and we're going to budget for hiring these teachers for the next 3 years, well, if you'd only paid them the first 3 or 4 months, you could say, well, only 10% of that money went out. But it doesn't accurately reflect the fact that money is committed and obligated. What we are pushing, though, is and I said this today speaking to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, we are asking people to step up their efforts to retain workers, to bring workers back to better jobs. But I do think the important thing to also remember is part of this is a feature, not a bug of the American Rescue Plan. This was lessons learned, David. We knew that when you come back from a deep recession, you don't want to be able to just jumpstart the economy. You want to ensure that you've got the financial firepower and flexibility to ensure the recovery is durable, equitable, and can deal with known unknowns like the issues we've seen with variants.
Right, but Gene, don't misunderstand me. When I'm asking how much was dispersed, I wasn't suggesting it was a bad thing. It hasn't been dispersed. In some ways, it could be a good thing because there's more money coming. So overall, do you have a sense of how much money is yet to be dispersed? Because that could really affect the economy in 2022 and even 2023.
Well, I would say that, almost all of the money that could be allocated or obligated has been. I think it is a more complicated question on how much has hit the economy. I think the thing that is comforting is that we're not in a situation like we were in the Obama years where when we ran into bumps in the road, as you remember, those bumps were Greece, Europe, the Arab Spring raising gas prices. We had to go back and ask unsuccessfully for more funds so that states weren't laying off people, contracting. Here, the funds allow the state and local governments to be at strength, to implement longer-term plans. We're trying to get them to accelerate those on jobs and workforce and retention right now. So I think that puts us in a much stronger situation. You may see us talking about having to go back in a particular area on health, et cetera, or more resources. But overall, I think the power and wisdom of the American Rescue Plan was that it had two focuses: to jumpstart strong growth, but also provide the flexibility to deal with lingering impacts. And if you take schools, we'd like to see some of the places accelerate their funds, but we also realize that those funds need to be used to keep schools open and safe, and do so right now. But we also need those school districts to have plans to deal with the learning loss. This is not going to be taken care of in a few months, but is an important negative lingering impact of this pandemic.